Today is the last day of the month of January. I'm going to start this video by talking about how there's been a media blackout in terms of Chinese citizens being able to report and release videos or any information at all regarding what's actually happening on the ground, on the front lines. And the most recent video was released, I believe, yesterday by a journalist, an aspiring journalist named Chen Qiu-shi. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but he released a video. You can search that on YouTube. It's about 26 minutes long, just over that. And I see one, the uploader is Sinatra Says Second. That's the uploader. And there was another update, not from China directly, but a person that has experience with viral research and animal research. His name is, let me just scroll up to see what his name is. Chris Sanders. He talks about Dr. Peng Zhou, who helped design the original coronavirus. So I had no idea that coronavirus is, what's the word, possibly created by in a laboratory. I always thought it was something that just came from animals. So it's really important. Watch that video. That's from Chris Sanders. It's called Dr. Peng Zhou, designer of level 4 virus types, Corona, Ebola, and SARS, at Wuhan Institute of Virology. It only has 76 views, but I believe his information is it's logical. It makes a lot of sense. Just like it made sense to come to the conclusion that Iran shot down that passenger plane. Oh, I'm just gonna take off this getup. It was mostly just for the thumbnail. I mean, you know, I'm pretty thankful I can take this off, whereas other places they have to keep it on, or else, you know, they're risking their lives. But I mean, soon will come the day where we all have to wear this. It won't be a choice. I mean, it will be a choice, but it won't be a choice if you want to live. So I'm going to get back to talking about the topic of this video. I don't want to make a video that's too long today. So basically, I want to talk about people being shipped back or flown back to their countries of origin. People from America, Canada, you name it. Like, they're flying them back from Wuhan and other parts of China back to their original countries. This is, I don't even have the words right now. This is the worst idea you could possibly do. This is how the Black Plague, the Black Death, which claimed pretty much 2/3 to half of the population of the planet, that's how it spread. This is how the Spanish flu spread as well, through travel and economic trade. I mean, thankfully, back in those days, they only had boats. They didn't have planes back in the Black Plague. Actually, I don't even think they had trains at that time. That was more a Spanish flu. But during the time of the Black Plague, if they had planes, you can bet that the death toll would be probably greater than half the planet. And I don't think people understand just how serious this coronavirus is, how contagious it is, and how lethal it is. History is going to look back on this decision to send people back to their countries of origin very poorly. It's going to be one of the worst decisions that our human governments will ever make. I mean, the UK is at least taking some precautions, locking them down under quarantine for 14 days. And I believe I don't know if it's a military facility or at least they're quarantined and they're going to be monitored very closely. And North Korea is probably, I hate to say it, but they're doing the best job out of all the countries in terms of protecting their people and taking the proper measures. I'm sorry to say it, but I mean they're just they don't care what people think. They'll do what's best for their people. Ironically, North Korea is doing what's best for the people in this situation, probably also wanting to protect themselves, the high government officials. A lot of people, a lot of news outlets, mainstream media especially, are saying that this isn't really serious. It's like the flu. It's as bad as the flu, the common flu. Well, I have an answer for that. If it wasn't that serious, would they be evacuating people out of Wuhan, out of China, back to the original countries? Answer me that. If it wasn't serious, why would they have to send them back, and not only send them back, but ASAP? If they thought they had a chance to survive, they would just leave them there. But since the situation is you leave us here, you're condemning us to die, we want to leave ASAP. That's not the common flu, people. Like, use your common sense, use your logic. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So CNN, obviously, they're very fake news. I don't have to say that, but a lot of the mainstream media are just they're taking this really lightly. And World Health Organization declared a global emergency yesterday, a global state of emergency. I mean, they're a week behind. They're a week behind. It was an emergency a week ago, maybe more than that. I want to talk about next the numbers being released by the Chinese government. So at the start, about I don't know how many days ago, when that nurse released the video, the nurse in Wuhan, she said the numbers were around 100,000 infected. So that means the numbers today that they're reporting, they probably at least 10 times as much as what they're saying. So if they're saying 10,000 today, it's probably closer to 1 million. Both the numbers that are infected and the deaths being reported, they're probably astronomical. I would venture to say maybe even in the hundreds of thousands. It's not just 100,000, but closer to 500,000 infected. I mean, Wuhan is a city normally of, I believe it's 14 million, and they said 5 million people had left before they locked down the city. So you have about 9 million remaining, but you don't know how many of those 5 million were infected. And then looking at the death toll, right now, I believe they're just under 1,000, but using that same logic that, the government of China are not going to report numbers that are reflecting the reality of the situation, it's probably in the tens of thousands easily. And then there's reports coming out from crematorium workers in China who are reporting that the bodies being sent to them, the dead bodies, are not being properly identified, meaning they're not being added to the official count that the Chinese government is releasing. Now, I wouldn't put it past them. Obviously, the Chinese Communist Party, that government, are also the same government that enforced the one-child law. And during that time where they enforced that, they did a lot of atrocities, including forcing women to abort, forcing women to be sterilized. People had to sell their babies on the black market just to keep them alive, out of fear that the government would kill their babies. So they sent them out to different orphanages, and then they were also adopted internationally. You can watch this, and there's a documentary, very good one, called One Child Nation, One Child Nation. It can be watched on Amazon Prime. Uh, Very good, very well made documentary. Then there was one piece of information I wanted to share as well, that apparently, and I'm not saying this is factual, but the virus has a higher chance of surviving in a colder temperature, colder climate. I didn't know that was the way that viruses behave, but you know, don't take my word for it. Just do your research. That may or may not be true. Saying that in a high humidity kind of environment, the virus has less time to survive, so it doesn't uh, flourish in that kind of condition. So if you really want to turn your heat up big time, and if you live in a humid country, then you got you have an advantage. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm looking at the chat. How many deaths in China? Uh, I think the official number right now is, let me look it up. There is a live coronavirus chat with the map. They're showing the map. So I'll look that up right now, I don't want to leave you hanging there. Let's see, live coronavirus infections. Okay, so this is the official. Oh, why is it not loading? Live map. Okay. Okay, there's a bunch of channels doing the same thing, all tracking this this live map. So I'll go to the Revive Music one. It says here, okay, on that live map, 9,925 officially from the Chinese government. That's the infected, total confirmed infections, which, using what I said earlier, if it's 10 times as bad, you're looking at close to 100,000 infected. But personally, I think it's a lot more than that, because, the nurse did say it was 100,000, and that was almost a week ago. That was many days ago now. And the total death count from the Chinese government is 222. You can multiply that by 10, it's closer to 22,200. I mean, it's kind of comical I have to do that, but I mean, that's the way the Chinese government operate. They like to, if you know anything about Eastern culture, it's very much an honor shame society. So you always want to show your best face. It's all about saving face. Not that it's a bad thing, but when you lie to cover up the truth, that's a bad thing. It's okay to, make yourself look good if that's actually how you are, with, if you have integrity. But anyway, that's kind of off topic. And then it says here, total recovered 213. I wish they'd give us more information on how they recovered and how they're doing now. If they would follow up, are they 100% well? I mean, that's a good question to ask. Okay, Hubei says 213. Okay, right. Well, anyhow, whether it's 222 or 213 deaths, it's probably closer to over 20,000. Personally, I think it's maybe closer to 100,000 deaths. But you know what? Let's go 20,000 to be safe. Just to be safe, because I know that they're going to underreport the numbers for sure. And I looked up the SARS death count from 2003, 2004, around that time. The numbers initially were a lot lower than what they reported, and they had to correct the numbers, and it was a higher death count than was originally reported. So you can actually look that up and see that those numbers are also falsified. But now we have the true well, maybe not the true count, but maybe closer to the real count, because SARS was also that was also leaked by the same, in China. It was also leaked there as well. And when I did some research about past epidemics or past pandemics, I should say. Just gonna look up this image that I have here. It's very eye-opening. I don't know if I have it on my phone or if it's on my laptop, but talking about I think it's the Black Plague, Spanish flu, and all these different pandemics. But a lot of them originated in China. Oh, here it is. Okay. It says here, Black Death, 30 to 50 million deaths. That was in the 1300s, 1334 to 1350. So the bubonic plague originated in China and spread to Europe along trade routes. So you see the Black Plague only spread, it would have been contained in China, but it spread to Europe because of trading and traveling. The modern plague, 10 million deaths. That was in 1860 to 1903, and that's the bubonic plague like sequel, if you want to call it that. It's made a return. Again, it started in China and then it spread to Hong Kong by 1894. 10 million deaths. Russian flu, obviously that's in Russia. It spread through Europe and Asia and reached USA. It was influenza A. It was about 1 million deaths. Spanish flu, 1918 to 1919, so World War I. 50 million deaths. It was the influenza A H1N1. It was estimated to have infected over 500 million people worldwide. And it doesn't mention it, but the reason it spread worldwide is because people were traveling, specifically soldiers, were traveling back home. Obviously, they'd want to go back home after the war, but travel, again, we have people being flown back from Wuhan, from places in China. We don't know if those are affected areas, and they're bringing the virus with them. Didn't you see? There was a movie, I think it was called The Strain, a series or a movie. It was on. It's based on the book, The Strain, obviously, and it's about, I think, vampirism, and it was spread through travel. I mean, we have so many movies and so many examples about this. Although they are fictional, we could learn from even fiction, funnily enough. And this is also nonfiction, this is historical. We should learn from the past, or else we're going to repeat these same errors. Asian flu, 1956 to 1958, about 2 million deaths. Again, originated in China and spread to Singapore, Hong Kong, and USA. 1968, 1969, Hong Kong flu, about 1 million deaths started in Hong Kong, which is part of China. Spread through Asia, Australia, Europe, and the USA. All these are spreading, most likely due to travel. 1976, Ebola outbreak, 280 deaths. The first recorded outbreak of the Ebola virus, it was contained within Zaire. Why was it contained? Because I don't think anyone traveled. That's probably why. 1981, HIV/AIDS, 40 million deaths. That's just ongoing due to people having sex up the, what's one of the reasons, at least, sodomy, and body substance precautions. So people exchanging needles, sharing needles through blood. You already know, I don't have to talk about that. 2003 SARS, 775 deaths. Viral respiratory illness, coronavirus. Okay, before I talk about this, I want to just say that I believe what we're having, this is just my personal opinion. It may not be factual, but SARS was the initial coronavirus that started killing people, right, in 2003. It is now 2020. I believe that what we have now is SARS, but it's a more mutated, more aggressive, more lethal version of what SARS was originally. Because, superbugs evolve, they develop resistance to antibiotics, they adapt. And I believe that this is just personal opinion, could be complete BS, but at the same time, this could be true. Viruses may have the same, I believe they have the same capability to adapt and to become deadlier. And if this really did come from that level 4 bioweapons research lab, there are 2 of them in Wuhan, And this could be that SARS, but a level 4 version. So like an upgraded version. Just in China and Wuhan. So SARS, 775 deaths. That was in 8 months. And the initial outbreak was reported in southern China. I believe Wuhan is in southern China, and I think that leaked from the same lab, and then it quickly moved to Hong Kong and other countries. 2009, the swine flu, over 200,000 deaths. That's the influenza A H1N1. WHO estimates around 18,500 deaths, but research suggests a death toll of over 200,000 people. Why is that? Why is there a discrepancy? Why are they covering up if they are covering up? Most likely they are. 2014, Ebola, over 11,000 deaths. Okay, what happened there? Initially, 1976, 280, and then this kind of went under the radar. I didn't even realize it was 11,000 people dying. Almost 10 times, 11 times as much as SARS claimed in 2014. So over 28,000 cases of Ebola were reported. The worst hit countries were Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea in West Africa. I mean, Ebola, between the two, Ebola and coronavirus, I know this isn't really a question, but if you were to choose which one you would rather have, probably, I know this sounds bad, but coronavirus sounds more like a less painful way to die, but it's equally lethal. It's just the symptoms don't manifest as, horribly as Ebola, where you're bleeding from your orifices and just pretty much hemorrhage to death. So, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. I'll just read some comments. There's been a ton of comments. What is going on? Okay. How many dead in total do you think? Oh, I said that already. It's at least 10 times as much as what the government of China is reporting. China is doing cremation. Yeah, that they are. I mean, we have the workers, cremation workers have reported that they're receiving bodies and they're not being properly identified, which means they're not being added to the official count. So that is, I'm not going to say it's a fact, but that's something that's being said. And obviously, if it is factual, China won't let that leak. This will be about 66 million dead. You could be right. I don't know. In 3 months. Yeah, possibly. I haven't done the math myself, but from my own personal opinion, I would say that when this thing is, hopefully when it blows over in about a year, or maybe hopefully less than that, I'm estimating between 100 to 300 million dead, which is the largest death toll we will see since the Black Plague. I hope it doesn't reach that point. And I know that they are coming up with a vaccine, and that could take until the summer when it's mass produced. And they will be doing human trials within the next few months. Do you think the actual number is too much? No, the actual number is 1/10 of what it probably really is. 20K dead. How are they covering that up? The Chinese Communist government, they're notorious for covering up numbers and covering up their atrocities. I mean, look at the Tiananmen Square atrocities that took place there. If it wasn't for the media, there would be a complete blackout. No one would know. People would just be talking about it. There would be no actual footage. How do you calculate your figures? This is speculation, but if you watch the video from that nurse in Wuhan, she said the numbers are closer to 100,000, maybe more. And because those who are being confirmed as positive for the virus or infected have kits, there aren't enough kits going around to confirm these numbers. So that is also having an effect on the numbers. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize no one can see my face. Not that you really need to. A news not confirming fell. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean. A news not confirm it. Tell 9,000 deaths. I'm sure the numbers China's reporting need to be multiplied by 10. Yeah, no, completely agree. Completely agree. I mean, even the nurse in Wuhan said it's closer to 100,000, over 100,000, and that was many days ago now. The initial videos that came out from hospital staff uh, are closer to the truth because they are the frontline workers. They're not gonna mince words. They're not gonna. They're pretty much they're on a death sentence right now. They know. I'm a healthcare worker too, so they know the seriousness of the situation, and most likely they know they're not going to survive this. Like SARS was bad, but if you were a baby or a senior, your likelihood of surviving was very small. Whereas if you were 20 something and your immune system was strong, you had a higher chance to survive. This seems a lot more lethal, at least 10 times more deadly. What's a final situation? Oh, the real situation. The real situation is what is being reported from the Chinese citizens themselves. There's a really good video I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream by a aspiring journalist who went to Wuhan. His name is Chen Qiushi. Please look that up. Please watch that video. His name is Chen, Chen, Qiushi. I don't know if that's pronounced it, but anyway, Qiushu, and that's uploaded by Sinatra something. You'll see Sinatra in the name for that channel. So that's very important you watch that. It's really, really vital. It's probably one of the best videos that have come out. I don't mean best as in, it was enjoyable. I mean it was very informative and it didn't seem sensational at all. He was trying to be factual. He's only reporting what he saw, not what he heard or what was on the internet, only what he saw with his own eyes. So that's why I take his word. I value what he says and I believe him. France health officials say that medicines will come 20 months. I think that's going to be way too late. 20 months will be almost 2 years. If they're going to take that long, it's going to be way too late to help anybody. Vaccinations. What is the final situation? Okay, that sounds about right. Your estimate. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm not trying to be like Nostradamus or anything like that, but at the same time, if you just use your logic, your common sense, you can estimate. Like for example, I'm going to use the Iran situation again. That plane crashed, and right away, my first thought was probably a missile, probably Iran, because they thought it was an American aircraft, or they just wanted to blame it on the Americans. I don't want to get off topic, but I mean, you use your common sense. Sometimes what is the truth is just the simplest answer. Okay. Yes, every medical employee not wearing PPE, yeah, is already sick. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really sad. I know I worked during the SARS epidemic, and I know people who died that, like my own doctor had died. Sorry, that's an alarm. I don't know what to say about that. It's like I'm reliving it again, but this is 10 times worse. But I'm not in the situation, thank God. But those people in Wuhan in China, they need our prayers. They need our help. I don't know if there was a way we could help them. Like if there was some shipping company or some reputable company who was actually sending supplies to them, I would definitely, I would donate my money. I'd give supplies to them. But at the same time, how can you trust them? So I don't know. I wish there was some kind of effort to supply them with what they need, especially those on the front lines. I mean, if there was a way for nurses and doctors from around the world, if there was some kind of, like, I know it sounds like suicide because pretty much that's what it is, but you're giving your life to save others, and hopefully, if there was some kind of effort for international, nurses and doctors to go there and help. But I think the language barrier, I already thought about this in my head, but the language barrier is going to be a problem but it won't be impossible. At least you're there to help. The more people, the better. Am I in China? No, no, I'm not in China. I'm in Canada. No, no. But at the same time, I believe Canada is going to be one of the countries that will have already have almost the same amount of people infected as United States. So, and I live in an area where there are a lot of Chinese businesses, establishments, in a very concentrated area of with a lot of Chinese population. And a lot of news in Canada are just really they're too PC. They don't want to offend anybody. But at the same time, I'm an Asian person myself, and if it was a virus that originated from where my ancestors came from, I wouldn't be offended if a Chinese person told me, I'm going to put this on and I'm going to stay away from you. I'll say, yeah, I mean, that's fine because it's just survival. You got to protect yourself. It's not racism or anything like that. It's just common sense. If someone has a disease like Ebola and you're protecting yourself, you're taking the measures. You're not saying that you don't like that person. You're saying, I just want to keep myself healthy. There's nothing wrong with that, and protect your family. So anyway, that's just kind of off topic, but I'm just kind of, it really irks me that the media, especially in Canada, they're just, I don't know, they've lost their minds really. On the road of Wuhan, there's military. I don't know. I can't. I can't say. There was a microbiologist on that plane. Interesting. Well, which plane? What plane are you talking about? The Pale Horse. Oh, the Pale Horse. It's actually the one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the one that brings pestilence. Okay, is that prayer? Yeah, we should be praying. Praying is the number one help for those who feel. Amen. Amen. Praying is, no matter what faith you are, prayer is powerful. And I feel bad saying this, but this news has depressed me somewhat and it's affected my own health. But it's good to end off your day if you're going to bed. Don't listen to this news before bed. Watch something funny and cheer yourself up, because laughter is the best medicine. And just playing something that is uplifting, or whatever you find that cheers you up, play that before you go to bed and not be so immersed in this. Like it's good to be informed. We should stay informed. Don't get me wrong, but if this is all we're listening to, we're not, our mindset and everything is just very down, we're going to end up sick too. Like your immune system will be affected. That's a fact. Isolation is the only remedy. Border closures and flights. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. Border closures should be enforced and flights should not be done, in my opinion. And finally, in the US and Canada, we have to isolate. Yeah, no, totally agreed. Yeah, I totally agreed with you, Richard Bowie. Totally agree, because yeah, no, what you say is logical. And you know what? I find it so refreshing that you have the common sense, you have the logic, more common sense than our own government leaders. You should be in government, in my opinion. That's a very wise thing to say. False. Okay, right. Never lose hope, no matter how things appear hard and painful. Amen. Thank you for those words here. Those are very good words. Yeah. Never give up. Even I was saying in one of the previous video I did on the situation that even if, like, say this spreads, I mean, it's already spreading, but say it becomes as bad as it is in China, in Canada, wherever you are, and say I die, or you die, or, let's just say that I die from this. I know that my life isn't just about the here and now. And at least, I straighten up my life. Like, this is a big wake up call to myself personally, that I have to fix my life and I can't just keep going and being a sinner, basically, and treat people badly. And I have to be more respectful and kind to everybody, whether that means just when you're driving, you let somebody in, and don't react, with anger. Just we're all going through the struggle. We're all in this together, pretty much. Yeah, we're all in the same family. We have 5,000 deaths. Okay, I don't know where you're getting that information from, but yeah, I mean, personally, I agree that it's at least 5,000 deaths. Where it's way more than what they're reporting. Is it dangerous? Is it more dangerous than HIV? Yeah, HIV isn't airborne. So yeah, it's definitely more dangerous than HIV. Am I from Wuhan? No, I'm not from Wuhan. I'm not. If you die, we will meet again. Life is, yeah. No, definitely. Falsalero. Yeah, we will meet again. I don't know what you look like, but I guess I'll have to ask around. Do you know Falsalero? I'm looking for Falsalero. They they told me we'll meet again. And no, I definitely believe that we'll meet again. I just won't know that it's you unless you say, "Yeah, my name was Falsalero on YouTube," and I'll say, "Yeah, I was Jack Knight," and we meet again. You watched my video and you made a comment, and we'll meet again. Yeah, we'll meet again. No, 100%. As we are here today, we'll meet again. As real as this is now, we will meet again. No, I definitely, I believe that with all my heart. Are you in Wuhan? No, no. I am a good scientist. Okay. Where am I? I'm in Canada. It's pretty much, I can help you. It's okay. It's okay. Don't appreciate that. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks. I was wearing this for the thumbnail. I wasn't wearing this because, I have this in case I may need it in the future. This is not my final form. This is only for the paint and whatever. I did order a military grade gas mask, not with its own contained oxygen supply, but it's what they use for biohazard situations. It's what the SWAT and those who are cleaning up the messes. That's what I ordered, and I also ordered a Tychem 3M LV suit, which is for biohazards and bioweapons. And it's tear resistant. So if you want to go that route and be completely prepped, order those. Yeah, those are the best. You can look it up. There's a 3M uh, chemical suit levels, grading them. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on a light just so it's getting really dark. Okay. Yeah. So what you see behind me in this bin. Oh, I'm gonna have to close this chat soon or this live stream. But in these bins behind me are bags of rice, bags of wheat, like flour, at maybe 2 months. And then behind there are canned vegetables, canned beans, canned chickpeas, canned fruit, enough for at least a month. I may prepare enough food for a year. I mean, if this is really bad as they say, and it's going to be really, hopefully not as bad, but prepare for the worst. If it's going to be, I would say at least a month. Prepare at least enough food for a month. And I don't know about water. Water should be fine, but also store up some water too. Será que informação? Okay, I think that's Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese. Sorry, I speak French. However, pelo coronavirus é real esse número. Oh, okay. You're talking about the number of dead. Yeah, I believe that is a false number. That it's at least 10 times as much as what they're reporting. So it is not true. I don't know how to say that. Es número. Número non esse verita. It's not veridad. Sorry, I can't speak Portuguese. I'm just making up words. Totally, how many deaths reported unofficially? Yeah, at least 10 times as much. Whatever they're reporting, it's 10 times as bad. Hi, moin coronavirus. Okay, I don't understand what you meant. They say some patients get their health again. Yeah, there are, from the Chinese government, they're reporting 200 something. Wait, let me get this right. I want to make up. Oh, hold on a sec. My dad just came home. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to end this stream. Yeah, 213 were confirmed cured, whatever that means. Uh, some of patients get their health again. Okay, is there a treatment? There isn't a treatment that we know of. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. You you may not agree. Okay, you may not agree. You may not agree with this, but this is my own personal opinion. Those on a plant-based diet, seriously, on a plant-based diet, uh, like beans, lentils, vegetables, fruits, breads, high carbs, will have a stronger immune system because it. You can look up the research. Those who eat dairy, high amounts of dairy and meat, have a weaker immune system. They're more susceptible. You're more susceptible for cancer. Okay, cancer thrives in a immunocompromised environment. Okay, cancer, heart disease, and diabetes, among other things. So, heart attack and stroke. That's a fact. You can look up. There's something called the China study. Has no relation to what we're going through now. It's just a study they did in China, looking at areas of China that started eating Western food, such as McDonald's and fast food, and their rates of diabetes, cancer, and heart disease went up like big time. So that's one of my recommendations as a healthcare worker to do the plant-based diet. Number one. Number two, get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. Keep your immune system strong. And number three, exercise, um, like cardio, calisthenics. And number four, just if you have a spiritual life, get right with your God. Personally, I worship the God of the Bible, of the Torah. His name is Yod He Vav He. Okay, or initials, the letters. How many deaths reported? Okay, they say some of patients get their health again. Is there any treatment? Oh, I just looked at that. How many deaths reported unofficially? Guys, my family got sick. I'm gonna read all the comments if you don't mind. I like the comments. I like the input. They got sick with the flu for weeks. If you want to heal instantly, drink natural. Yeah, cranberry juice is good for your kidneys. Definitely flushes your kidneys out. Apple juice is good for vitamin C. But I would recommend, if possible, to blend it, because if you're just drinking fruit juice, that's high in sugar. You want to get the fiber so that God designed fruit was designed in such a way that the fibers enable us to our bodies to absorb the vitamin C, the right amounts, in just the right quantities. The fiber kind of rations it in a way. It slows down the absorption rate. Whereas when you get rid of the fiber, it's like you're injecting the sugar into your bloodstream. So that's my recommendation. But no, I agree with you about the cranberry and apple, but just have it like blended instead of juice. Just get the fruits and blend it yourself. The malic acid and vitamin C. Yeah, no, those are good. That's a good advice. Thank you for sharing that. If you are in Wuhan, no, I'm not in China. we must save you. Thank you. That's sorry. Don't mean to laugh. It's just that was very kind of you. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for commenting, and you're welcome to. It is affecting. You know what? I thought about that. Why are the deaths only in China? Because we have those infected in other countries too. So does that mean? I don't know. I think time will tell. Time will tell if once we see the first death, and I hope to God we don't, but if there is a death in somewhere outside of China, then we know it's not just Chinese only. But I mean, we'll see. I don't think it's Chinese only. It doesn't make sense because we're all the same. I mean, biologically and anatomically, we're the same, or relatively the same. I don't want to get into that discussion because it kind of tends to be a little racist, so I won't get to that. But we have the same blood, essentially, just not same blood types, but we all have red blood cells, white blood cells, and plasma and all that. Am I a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian by the world's definition. I just try to live by the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. So I just try to live by the Bible, like the Jesus Christ, or however you call him, Yehoshua Hamashiach in Hebrew. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." So I just try to follow that way. And he says, "Follow me." We have to we have to be lights in the world, and people should look at us and say, "Yeah, that guy reminds me of Jesus." So if I've done that, then I've done a good job. But if not, then I'm a failure. In the information that is passed in Brazil, 213 in China, but the coronavirus is no, that number is not real. Not that it's not real at all. I'm saying that it's probably a lot. The number's at least 10 times as much. And one of the reasons, besides the government lying about it and concealing the information, is that there's just not enough kits going around to confirm the cases of infected, and at the same time, with those working in the incinerators, uh, and it sounds so bad, but the incinerators, they've also said that bodies are being brought to them and they're not identifying them properly. So, oh, and it is the Sabbath. I have to log off. But and those who are keeping the Sabbath, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, because it is Friday and it is sunset where I am. I don't understand English. Oh, okay. Oh boy, yikes. Sorry. I wish I could speak your language, Portuguese. Obrigado. Thank you for watching. I wish I could speak Portuguese. I really do. Uh, wish the best for humanity. Yeah. Take care of my brother. Take care too. Uh, Faizalero. Take care. God bless you. May you be safe, and God keep you safe and well and away from all this stuff that's happening. The most merciful upon us all sincerely from Arabia. Oh, from Saudi Arabia. Oh, God bless you. Yeah. Yeah, bless you. And shalom be with you. Salam be with you. Because, for example, Chinese people cannot drink milk. It's only affecting. I don't know about that. I'd have to. I don't know what you mean by milk, like dairy milk. This virus has different effects on nations. You know what? I'm not going to rule that out. It could be possible. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'd have to. You'd have to clarify what you mean by drink milk. Do you mean dairy, soy, almond milk? I think you mean dairy. I'm going to assume you mean dairy, but I'll let you answer that. All green plants will be for food. Oh, amen. Yeah. If people would follow that, there would be no such thing as sick people. Actually, I have to correct you. Uh, LG News. I have to correct you. I must correct you. It's not just that. You have one part of the equation. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna read it right before I log off. I'm gonna read this. It's in Genesis chapter 1. I'm not reading from the King James. I'm actually reading from the oldest version of the scriptures that we have available. It's called the Septuagint, and it's the oldest of the Septuagint. It's called the Brenton's Septuagint, and basically, I'm coming. Well, basically, sorry guys, guys and ladies and gentlemen. Um, just gonna read this one scripture in Genesis 1, verse 29. It says here, God blessed them, saying, "Increase and multiply." Okay, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over all the animals. So we're supposed to take care of them, not abuse them. God said, or Elohim said, "Behold, I've given to you every seed-bearing herb, sowing seed, which is upon all the earth, and every tree which has in itself the fruit of seed that is sown to you, it shall be for food." So, amen. No, you're right. You had part of the equation. Those green herbs, those fruit-bearing seed, vegetables included, should be our food. And if you just do that, you'll avoid a lot of diseases and a lot of pain. And there's a documentary Netflix called The Game Changers. Very good. I recommend you watch that as well. It basically reveals that the Roman gladiators, oh, sunset, the Roman gladiators were plant-based. They were vegetarian. They were vegan. That is shocking to me. Like they did a study looking at their bones, and that's what they discovered. So we're very off topic right now. It's supposed to be on the coronavirus, but anyhow, yeah. We all see. We will see milk of cow. Okay, dairy milk. Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to send me a source, or I'll have to look it up myself. So interesting. 2020 is the end. No, it's not the end. It's the beginning of the end. We're living in the time that Jesus Christ or Yeshua spoke of in. I'm gonna take out my Bible again. The other Bible, it's the New Testament, separate. This is based on the Westcott and Hort translation. It's the oldest Greek manuscript that exists currently. Luke 20. I'm just gonna read it kind of quickly, and then you can look at my previous video that I uploaded. I explained it in detail there. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, Luke 21, verse 11. We're living in this time. Okay, this is what's happening. It reads like the headlines. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes. Okay, so nation will rise against nation. That's pretty much what's happening with around in U.S. and in Israel and everyone else. There will be great earthquakes. We just had one in Jamaica, 7.7, a couple days ago. Plagues, we're having that right now. Famines in various places. That's the locust, billions of locusts in Eastern Africa eating up all the crops, and they're locust storms, like big groups of locusts as big as the city of London. There will be terrible appearances and signs in the heavens. That's the Beetlejuice that's coming up, and we're gonna have a second sun in the sky and a second full moon, like Tatooine. All Star Wars fans will get that. Before all this, they will lay hands on you and persecute you. So they're gonna also persecute the Christians, which they're already doing, but I guess it's gonna be more intensified. And then Jesus says, it's bad if you have a kid or a baby, or women who are pregnant with babies in those days. There's going to be great suffering in the land and anger against the people. People are going to die, being taken prisoners to every land. Jerusalem's going to be surrounded pretty much by the armies. There's going to be signs too in the sun, the moon, and the stars. So that's upcoming. That hasn't happened yet. The earth is going to despair, and the roar of the sea. So there's going to be issues with the ocean there. Men's hearts will fail them through dread of what is coming upon the world. I'd say a lot of men's hearts are failing even now, especially those in China. There's only the beginning, but he's talking about something even worse than what's going on now. The forces of the heavens will be convulsed. Then will be seen the Son of Man, or Jesus Christ, will be coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When those things begin to occur, look upwards and lift your heads, for your deliverance will be at hand. So basically, Jesus Christ is going to come back, and people think he's an alien because he's coming from the sky. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you, everyone, for joining and all your comments. I really appreciate it. Look forward to doing another one in the future. So if you want to join again, please subscribe. I don't like asking for this, but, if you want to do this again, obviously you'd want to subscribe. But if not, it's up to you. I leave it up to you. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.